across the board. All right, we have thumbs up across the board. So let's go ahead and open up the doors to Daily with Doc. Hello, everybody. My name is Becca Dukes, and I am excited to have you take this 50 minutes, 60 minutes if we go the full hour, investing in yourself with information that you can use to help yourself. Because, folks, we are empowered individuals. Did you know that? We are an empowered individual. And if you do not feel empowered, I hope through this program, you will get a little bug of what empowerment feels like on what you can do to help yourself, especially when it comes to your own health. So this program is not meant to take the place of your primary care physician, nor are our products designed to treat, prevent, cure any diseases. But folks, when you give the body what it needs, the body itself can do some amazing things on this journey we call health, or even the journey to wellness. So if you've gone down that journey of poor health and you're wanting to make a U-turn or take another journey towards better health, you are in the right place. Here on Daily with Doc, we are a resource for an amazing community of health coaches. Those coaches trained by the Institute of Wholistic Health through their Certified Holistic Health Coach course, which you can find more information about at coachwithdoc.com. Not all of our coaches, or the people that are part of our family, are certified holistic coaches, and that's okay, because we have programs like this where we are able to connect with one of the founding fathers of not just the Institute of Holistic Health, not just the product line offered by Longevity, and not just one of the founding fathers of the science, yes, the science of epigenetics. Now, for those of you who have been told that you have a genetic disease, epigenetics was my bright light of hope. Because, folks, through the science of epigenetics, it has proven that the theory of disease transmission is not genetic. It's not. So there's a lot that we can do on our own. One, to make healthier generations. That's the best thing to do. But two, even if we're already into this life of our own generation, there's things that we can do to just make sure that our moving forward is moving forward with ease. So without further ado, I just want to welcome all of you who are here in the Zoom room with me at DailywithDocZoom.com. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the live show. And for those of you who are live watching the live stream out on all the different various platforms that we have, or even on the radio, as we do stream on the radio as well. And if you would like to join us here on our live Zoom, you are more than welcome to. Go to DailywithDocZoom.com. We have this program Monday through Friday, most weeks, from 12 to 12:50 p.m. Pacific time. So the last week here in July, we are taking Thursday and Friday off, but we will be here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then after that. So I am ready to share some information with folks. And folks, if somebody shared this program with you, make sure that you get back with them and tell them thank you. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for caring enough to share this program with me, as I am confident that you're going to be hearing some things that you can implement in your own life or in the lives of somebody you love to help them have a better tomorrow. So without further ado, it is my honor and privilege to introduce to you that co-founding father of the science of epigenetics, who also has a Bachelor of Science in Agriculture. He went on to become a doctor of veterinary medicine, and 3 postdoctorates in pathology. And if that was not enough, wanted to treat humans too. Even though he treated them like dogs, we all seem to get better. Naturopathic physician, Dr. Joel Wallach. Dr. Wallach, welcome to Daily with Doc.
Well, thank you so much for the very kind introduction. And it's very, very exciting because we're really going to put forth a great effort that has been put forth by so many of our members of the health coaches, okay, including yourself and a whole team here. And basically, we're talking about the disease called Parkinson's disease. It's second only to Alzheimer's disease when it comes to the diseases of the brain. Okay. Each year.
And what do you mean by second to that, Dr. Wallach? I'm sorry. What do you mean by second to Alzheimer's disease?
In numbers of cases. Oh. Okay.
Thank
you. The Alzheimer's disease is number 1 in numbers of cases each year in America, and Parkinson's disease is number 2 in numbers of cases each year in America when it comes to brain diseases. Okay, brain and spinal cord diseases, and it's really sad because they're all nutritional deficiencies. The big mistake that most healing professions make is they say, well, eat well, you get everything you need. That's not even close. Plants only need 3 minerals. We need 60. Plants do not make minerals. Minerals do not occur in a uniform blanket around the crust of the earth. They occur in veins like gold and silver. And you could be eating the same thing your twin brother or sister or older brother or sister or mom and dad are doing, and they don't have any problems. But you move 3 states away and you're eating the same recipe, but you're getting the food from different sources, and they didn't have access to all the minerals. And so they might be getting, out of the 60 minerals we need, they might be getting 22 and you're only getting 4. Okay, so that's why there's such a disparity in who gets what diseases and so forth, even though they're eating similarly. Well, we're putting together this case report because we had this wonderful Parkinson's patient who worked with us and shared her road with us, Madeline. And basically, when you're looking at the number of cases we have each year in America, number of Parkinson's cases is 1 million. Okay, that sounds like a lot, but in China, they have 4.24 million, okay, in China each year. We have 90,000 new cases each year in America, and in China, they have 24,000. No, that's not right. Not 24,000. It's much more than that. Okay, I'll have to get that number again. 37,000 deaths in America each year from the disease. Okay. And 37,000 deaths, that's very scary, okay, from this disease. Now, it's not a bug, it's not a virus or anything like that. It's a simple nutritional deficiency. And Madeline was actually diagnosed 12 years ago now, I guess, 12 years ago, okay? And she was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, and every year for 11 years, she went to the, let's see here, here we go, Rush University Medical Center in Chicago, Illinois, and they did an annual physical on her every year for 11 years, positive, all 11 times. And then we came along before she was tested her 12th year. We put her on our program, a nutritional program, and she came back, there's a problem here. We come back tomorrow, we got to run this test again. So she came back the next day, no problem here. Okay, so don't take any more of these drugs you've been taking, no more pharmaceuticals, and we'll see you next year. Now, the thing that bothered me was they didn't sit her down and say, have you been doing anything different? She also had applied for and gotten approval to have all her medical records sent to her. But as far as I know, they never were shipped. Or if they were shipped, they never arrived because she never passed them on to us. And we asked her, do you have them? She says, no, I never got them. although they did approve her application to get copies of her health report. Okay. So this is something where this is growing. Everybody's expecting in the next 3 or 4 or 5 years for things to go up by 50%. And the same thing in China. This is big stuff. Okay. And it's a simple nutritional deficiency disease. So that's why we're excited, because we can do great things for people. Okay. And good food, bad food diet, everybody knows about that. And then, okay, the results after 2.5 months on our program, Madeline went to her scheduled 12th annual physical at the Rush University Medical Center, okay? And she was found to be free of all Parkinson's disease symptoms after 11 years of positive reports, okay? Conclusion is now, it appears that by providing an adequate diet, including removing all the bad foods and all the good foods, and supplementing with all the known required nutrients to maintain the entire body, including the brain and spinal cord, okay? And people tend to leave the brain and spinal cord out, okay? There's a lot of mistakes. I was looking at this morning in the old studies going back into the 1800s, and you go back and they even find Egyptian royalty going back thousands of years ago. Egyptian royalty had demonization. The white matter of the brain went away in them. And they were saying, well, they weren't eating the same diet as us. No, but they were cooking the same way. They were frying stuff, okay, and burning stuff and eating things very well done and so on. And so they were getting oxidized fats, and they weren't getting all the nutrition they needed because they live in different places and nutritional minerals do not occur in a uniform blanket around the crust of the earth. And so they occur in veins like gold and silver. So even going back thousands of years, before the Old Testament, the people who lived the longest were the ones who lived in the land flowing with milk and honey. Now, were they talking about goat's milk, camel milk, cow's milk? No, they were talking about glacial milk. Now, they didn't know it was glacial milk, and they didn't have the ability to analyze it back then, 3,000 years ago. But they knew that there were places where people live where they lived a long time. If they moved away from there and moved to other places, they and their families died younger. But if they stayed in those places, they lived a longer time. So those are things that are well recorded, and that still happens today. We have the best doctors in the world. Ask them. We're the best doctors in the world. Yet we have a life expectancy of 75. You look at the Hunzas, have no medical doctors, and their life expectancy is 120. Many live to be 130, 140, 150. Why is that? Because they live in the land flowing with milk and honey. We're talking about glacial milk, okay? Glacial milk. And it's because the mountains are grinding up all the minerals up, or the glaciers up at the top of the mountains in the spring as things melt. And all this silt, which is white, makes the creeks look like milk, okay? Because it's suspended in this creek water, looks like milk. And that's where they got the term, the land flowing with milk and honey. Now, you have to appreciate, there's 21 stories in the Old Testament, ranging from 2 paragraphs to 2 pages, regarding long-lived peoples, famous peoples in the Old Testament. And then there's over 100 mentions of the land flowing with milk and honey when it's discussing other peoples, how they lived a long time and so forth, because they originated from the land flowing with milk and honey. So you have to appreciate that they were recording what they were seeing. Now, they didn't know all the reasons for it, and so they appointed it to a, what should I say, an event that was produced by God, which it is. You have to say that it's a God thing, okay? And so nobody can deny that. This is not something that just accidentally happens. No, it's how things are, the mechanics, if you will, the anatomy of the mountains, okay, and the streams, the glaciers, and all that stuff comes together. And when you're getting glacial milk to drink with your tea and drink as water, to irrigate your gardens and your fields and give to your livestock, guess what? You're going to live longer than people who don't get the glacial milk. Okay. And that's why a nutritional program is so important. Even billionaires in America, their life expectancy in America is only 66 billionaires, because they go to medical doctors who say, just eat well, you get everything you need. And they say, well, yeah, I'm eating well. I pay $200 to go out and have a dinner. I'll pay $200 for each person to get the best dinner they serve. But yet they only live to be 66 because they tend not to supplement because, well, I'm paying $200 a meal. Why should I have to supplement? Okay, that's very bad reasoning. You would not just run your car by putting dirt from Texas in there to save a little bit of money. You wouldn't get very far. The car wouldn't run very long, and you'd be at the mechanics all the time trying to repair all the damage from all of the lacking all the things that should be in there and getting only the dirt from Texas. So you do have to supplement no matter how well you're eating, no matter how much you're spending for food. Okay, you do have to supplement with the 90 essential nutrients, and then you're going to maximize your health. You're going to maximize your longevity. Okay, with that, I'm going to turn this back over to Rebecca.
All right, Dr. Wallach, thank you so much for that information. It's really exciting, folks. Whenever you're working with somebody, and this is, I hear it all the time as this director of student services with the Institute of Wholistic Health, working with coaches, and the coaches finding, okay, even some that have been in other coaching programs who didn't think that they need this, but thought, oh, it's affordable. I can never go wrong adding more education and more information into my toolbox. And then when they hear the information, Dr. Wallach, and they implement it in their own lives, and then they start sharing with others because they're getting positive results. And then we have, like this case here, this woman was tested 12 years ago.
Yeah,
to have
11 times annually every year for 11 years.
Well, that was 12 years ago. And then this year, her 12th year, she no longer had those symptoms. And that was 2.5 years, or 2.5 months rather, on your recommendations. And it wasn't even the full recommendation, Dr. Wallach. Folks, our food is so null and void of nutrition. The body's starving. But when you give the body the nutrition in a form that it can actually absorb, and not just a little bit of this, a little bit of that, we're talking whole, what's that word? Fractionated, not fractionated nutrition, folks. We're looking at the whole picture. The whole body needs nutrition, not just one thing for this or one thing for that. When Dr. Wallach was doing all those autopsies, he was looking at those slides and the mineral and the chemical makeup of the body. And when there was something that was less, he would look to see, okay, what diseases were there? And there was a correlation every time there was nutrients that were missing, these symptoms were occurring. So he connected all the dots. It's like, okay, let's put together formulas that include all of these nutrients in a ratio that the body can actually absorb and thrive on, not just barely survive. This is going beyond RDA, which is ridiculous nutritional deficiencies everywhere, okay? And just feeding the body as a whole. And that's what we did with this client. I was working with her coach. We got Dr. Wallach's protocol. She wasn't able to afford the whole thing. So we got the key components, folks, put her on those. And in 2.5 months, the same institute that had been telling her all of the symptoms that she was having for this disease now told her she no longer had those symptoms of that disease, and told her she could stop taking her medication. How amazing is that? If you are listening to this and you yourself or somebody you know would benefit, please share this program. Share this program with them. If you're out on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, Spotify, anywhere that allows you to be able to subscribe, hit like, give us thumbs up, please do so. The more likes and thumbs up and comments that we get, the more people are going to be reached through that platform so that we can get this message out. This is a message of hope. Dr. Wallach?
Yeah, I want to throw in here, sometime by the end of this week, early next week, this case report, it's an official case report being published by the Health Coaches Journal.
So, so it's being published in the Journal of the Institute of Wholistic Health. And this is going to be going out to, for one, all of our certified holistic health coaches so that they can use this journal in reaching others. And this is just the one of many that I have in the making, folks. Parkinson's is not the only condition. I mean, I have in the other project that I'm working on for Dr. Wallach, there are, I think I counted 21 different conditions that are from demyelinization of the nerves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You've got demyelinization linked with osteoporosis of the skull. You've got a bad mix, folks. And it's all nutritional deficiencies. And Dr. Wallach, correct me if I'm wrong, back in the 70s, they deemed eggs to be the demon. Do not eat them. In the early 80s, they came out with a drug to help lower cholesterol. By the end of the 80s, the rise in these neurological and cognitive conditions was skyrocketing. I mean, you connect those dots, and that's a major clue. It's like, hello, people, let's look at the numbers. They don't want you to see them, but if you really look for them, you will find them. And that's part of what this program is being put together, is based on the numbers they don't want you to know about, because they are important. They are vital. We are more interested in promoting wellness than managing sickness. There's a lot of money in managing sickness, Dr. Wallach. A lot. They're, like Dr. Wallach says, they're milking the cow. The whole dairy herd, actually. It's not that I want to be considered a cow, but I was in that dairy herd for many years and was able to come completely out of it. And I don't want to look back. Well, Dr. Wallach, we have lots of questions that are coming up. I see the ones that are on Facebook. I've got my co-hosts that I have on with me watching other platforms, looking for those questions always also and feeding them through to me. So if we don't get to your question, please go to DailywithDoc.com. Use that contact us. We also have a newsletter that in the process of subscribing to the newsletter, if you have a question that you would like to know what Dr. Wallach's nutritional solution is, please include your age, the weight, the height, the major health concerns that you're worried about, any other health concerns, especially if they are being managed by a pharmaceutical. And Dr. Wallach, he asks questions that is like, well, why on earth would he want to know that? Questions like, how many times do you wake up during the night? Well, that's one of those clues that helps drive him into knowing what the underlying cause is. We're at underlying causes, not something to mask a symptom. So, Dr. Wallach, let's go to one of the questions that we have up here. And so Raphael wants to know, we're talking about obesity in his questions. And there's some studies that say that if you do not have any problems with blood sugar or insulin resistance, I'm trying to get to the question, that they're saying that there are no ill effects of being obese. So,
Uh-oh.
and that's another one of those, yeah, don't eat eggs, don't eat butter type of research things.
Being obese is okay. Come visit
Okay.
me. I have a special store for selling clothes to obese people.
I remember when I was 100 pounds heavier than I was, it was not easy getting around. I mean, it was not easy getting in and out of a small vehicle, or even going to a restaurant and having to sit into a booth, or flying on an airplane. So there's a lot of things that have to do with, even if you don't have heart disease, even if you don't have kidney disease, it's something that's not necessary. And Dr. Wallach, I had a lot of issues, but when I started on the program,
obesity is a red warning light in the dashboard of the car. Okay, even if you don't have a clinical entity that you can tell or the doctor can tell, if you're overweight, that's the red warning light in the dashboard of the car coming on.
well, and so tell me, Dr. Wallach, when I was always craving starches, breads, sugars, fried foods, what was that a sign of?
You have mineral deficiencies, and the case called pica, P-I-C-A. And this pica drives people to eat 6, 8, 10, 12, 15, 20 meals a day. And people say, why do you, I never see you stop eating. You're eating all the time. I don't know. I'm just driven. I'm hungry all the time. Well, you just ate enough for 6 people to eat a half hour ago and you're eating again. Well, I'm hungry again. Well, that's because your body is looking for specific minerals to deal with specific nutritional deficiencies, which are telling the body, hey, you're going to have a fracture, you're going to have cancer, you're going to have a heart attack, you're going to have asthma, you're going to have all this stuff. Eat and find those nutrients. And so that's what's going on there. And in horses, it's called cribbing when they chew on the fence or the gate in the stall in the barn. Okay, that they're chewing on that because they only get put grain in front of them certain times of the day, so they have nothing else to eat, so they eat the fence. That's called cribbing. And human beings, it's called pica.
Well, then I just thought of something. So before they had electricity, they were doing a lot more with wood burning. In that wood that those stalls are made out of are minerals.
That's correct. And that's why in the old days, we were getting our nutritional minerals by putting the wood ashes into the gardens and putting them into our soup and putting them on our salads and stews and things like that, because they couldn't afford the expensive spices. So they put wood ashes and coal ashes into our food, put wood ashes and coal ashes in the garden. But when we went to electricity, how many minerals are generated by running electricity? None. Okay. So the electricity, the side effect of electricity has killed more people on Earth than all the wars that humanity has fought in.
And I do want to point out there's a difference between coal and charcoal. For those of you who did not know, it's not the ash from the charcoal from burning your steaks. It's not that. That's not what you want to put in your food. So I just want to make that little disclaimer, Dr. Wallach, because you never know. You never know. And I do want to thank Joe for pointing out that YouTube's AI does give preference to videos that have a higher thumbs up or thumbs down ratio. So thank you so much for that reminder, Joe. Let's go to Sherry, who has her hand up. Sherry, go ahead and unmute yourself.
All right, thank you. This is a question from our chat, and it says, "Hi, Doc. I have dry macular degeneration. Right eye is getting worse. Still able to drive. I'm 70. I weigh 165 pounds, 5'9". No prescription drugs. Blood pressure's 130/80. Very healthy overall. I'm a regular longevity customer. I've been eating gluten-free since 1999. Please list specific nutritional regimen and aggressive regimen needed."
Okay, when you have macular degeneration, okay, loss of proper functioning of the eye. It could be from many causes. It could be just simple nutritional deficiency. It could be osteoporosis of the skull, squeezing the optic artery and the optic vein and the optic nerve that comes through the skull into the back of the eye, because the macula is that area, the zone in the back of the globe of the eye where the optic nerve, cranial nerve number 2, and the optic artery and optic vein go into. And when the skull starts squeezing it, when you get osteoporosis of the skull, the amount of nutrition, the amount of oxygen, nerve stimulation, everything goes way down, and you pay a price for that. Okay, so this is something they may want to get a hair analysis. Okay, get that book, Rare Earths Been Cures. Go to page 272, chapters 10 and 11, and it will tell you how to, get the hair analysis and so forth. And that'll tell you what your nutritional level looks like in your brain and your skull and so on. Very important. And you can't get that information from a blood test when you go to a doctor or an examination or an x-ray. You can't get that information. You can get, maybe if they're on top of it, if they're really experienced, you might be able to tell if you have osteoporosis of the skull from an MRI or an x-ray of the skull. But they usually don't take, unless you have a trauma, an injury to the head, they usually don't take that unless they're doing some dental work or something. That all the x-rays will be from here down. And okay, but macular degeneration is easily reversed, but you got to get rid of all the bad stuff and do all the good stuff, including the 90 essential nutrients. And we do have occutive to add to that, the 90 essential nutrients. Okay, we have the I-26, the occutive, the synaptive, so the brain cells can talk to the eye and the macular area of the eye. Okay, and so you need all these things. And people say, well, my doctor won't give me a prescription for all that. He just wants me to take vitamin C. Well, you're not going to solve your problem with vitamin C alone. Okay, if you have scurvy, okay, and and you don't have enough vitamin C, you might die. Okay, but if you're eating green leafy vegetables, you're eating oranges, you're eating limes. That's why they call the British limeys, because they ate a lot of limes. Okay, and so forth. Grapefruit. It's very important to realize back hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, people who were eating a great variety of food and putting the wood ashes into their food and gardens did better than people that just ate one thing all the time. Okay, and so you have to determine with tests. Your doctor doesn't know anything about a hair analysis. Okay, all he knows is a blood test and x-rays, he or she. Okay, so it's one of those things where you got to get the information first. You give us the information, then we can tell you what to do. But you need to take the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, you need to take the MSM, you need to take the collagen peptides, you need to take the synaptive, you need to take the I-26, and you need to, let's see here, I would also put in the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets, take 3 of those twice a day per 100 pounds of body weight. That's going to help blood flow into the back of the eye increase towards the normal. And but you do need that hair analysis so we can find out if you're absorbing nutrition. If you're supplementing, there's another place in there. You're supplementing, but are you absorbing? Okay, so you need to find that out. So give us contact, and we'll walk you through this as we get the information.
Thank you, Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you, Sherry, for asking Tom's question for him. And the next question, Dr. Wallach, is coming from Hoosiers Proud. So they are wanting to know, what is the best way to balance hormones in a 56-year-old female?
Well, again, this is where a blood test can be of help. Okay, we find out what your hormone levels are. And so you just can't say, well, eat these foods. Okay, but we do have things for females. We have the Xerafem. Okay, they can take the Xerafem. We do have also, for the breast, we have Bust FX. Okay, and the guys, we have Xera. Let's see here, Xera test for the guys. Okay, and it's one of those things where you give the body what it needs, it can do its job. And so we've got 5,000 products. We deal with over 600 different things, including things that deal with hormonal issues. Okay. And so, again, you got to get rid of all the bad stuff, got to eat all the good stuff. And you start a program, you get a hair analysis at the beginning to find out what's going on here. And if you've been eating gluten all your life, no matter how you're eating, no matter how much you're supplementing, everything's going to be low. Because if you're not absorbing, all you're doing, if you're eating a lot of supplements, is going into the septic tank, and the septic tank bugs are happy. Okay. And so there's these different pieces that you have to look at because eating badly, including gluten and buckwheat phagopyrines and carbonated drinks, even the diet drinks, and also the carbonated waters, these are big killers because even if you're supplementing, you cannot absorb properly. And that's what confuses people. Well, I'm taking all these supplements, they're not doing me any good. Well, what do you drink every day? Well, I kind of sweat at work, so I drink a lot of water. What kind of water do you drink? Well, I like the bubbly stuff. Well, that's why you have a problem, because it's neutralizing your stomach acid so you cannot absorb minerals or digest food.
Or the one that gets me, Dr. Wallach, and this one I've heard many, many times, is on the way home from work, and this is working construction, stopping and getting a big gulp, which is it's more than 32 ounces of Coke. So, I mean, that's throwing your digestive system off because of that carbonation, not to mention
The sugar.
all of the artificial flavors and all of the sugar. And there's just nothing healthy about it. It's just nothing healthy about it. But also I wanted to mention, because you had mentioned like the Zeratest, the Zerafem, folks, essential fatty acids. People don't understand how important they are for hormone levels. That's why you've got 2 different essential fatty acid products in the Healthy Body Brain and Heart Pack. And the selenium, ultimate selenium. It's not like any other selenium. So getting on that, if nothing else, and you're not able to add in those secret sauces in the beginning, just get on that brain and heart pack. And it's amazing what that much nutrition right there can do to help advance you towards a better health journey. So I just wanted to add that in there, Dr. Wallach. Let's go ahead and go to Albert, who has his hand up. Albert, go
Good
ahead
evening,
and
Dr.
ask.
Wallach.
Yes, how can we help you?
Doctor, I thought to ask you a question. I have a friend who's been diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa, which is also known as Rod-Cohen dystrophy. I don't know any of the other pre-existing conditions, but what I wanted to ask, is this related to macular
Yeah,
degeneration?
it is. It's kind of a cousin to macular degeneration, because macular degeneration occurs in the back of the eyeball, where the optic nerve and the optic artery and the optic vein leave from, and the artery goes to, and the nerve goes to. And so retinitis, the retina, includes
Yes.
the macula. The macula is just on the back part of the eye, but okay.
So, doctor, what would we do would it be the same protocol as we use for macular degeneration to cure it?
Same program, including the Occutive and the Vision FX, okay, and the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets for circulation. And you get on the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack and the MSM, and that's kind of where I would start. And again, you'll save a lot of money by getting rid of the
Synaptive as well.
I'm sorry, you have Synaptive. Oh yeah, Synaptive will work good. Synaptive, and also wouldn't hurt to throw in, because doctors can make mistakes. If they don't know something, they just say what they know. Okay. And so it wouldn't hurt, in addition to throwing in the Synaptive, also to I-26. Okay. The I-26 to rebuild the brain, which that's where your optic nerve comes from. The optic nerve forms in the brain. And so if you're making your brain healthy, the brain can make a healthy optic nerve. So it wouldn't hurt to throw in the I-26 as well as the Synaptive. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor.
Okay, yeah,
Bless
keep
you.
us informed. Let us know how this goes.
Thank you. I will do. Thank
All
you,
right.
Doctor.
Thank you, Albert. Just another one of those certified holistic health coaches helping their communities. So, and that community, if you can't tell, he had a little bit of an accent, is in South Africa. So thank you, Albert, for joining us here with
Yeah,
us.
bye, donkey. Bye, donkey.
Buy a donkey.
Buy-
Yes.
Buy a donkey, Doctor.
Good.
Okay, so tell us what buy a donkey is.
Yeah.
Let's have
All
Let's
his
have
funny
some-
guys taught sins.
Buy a donkey is thank you very much.
Yes.
Alles van die beste,
Fantastic.
Doctor, en tot ziens ook.
Donkey, donkey, donkey.
All right. Okay, folks, I hope you caught that. I didn't catch all of it, but I will learn. I am open to learning. Just a reminder, if you were shared this program by somebody specific, make sure that you get back with them and ask them how you can go about getting information about what you yourself need to meet your health goals, or somebody that you know. The person that shared this program may possibly be an associate with Youngevity or a certified holistic health coach with the Institute of Holistic Health, where we do use the Youngevity products as a solution because they work. That's the only reason why I do this, Dr. Wallach. I found your program, which I had been on many, many before. None of them worked for me. In fact, one of them, I gained an extra 18 pounds.
Whew.
Yeah, weight loss program, you gain 18 pounds, go figure. But yours was so simple. I wasn't even trying to lose weight. I was just trying to get rid of headaches, trying to get rid of all of the pain throughout my body, and no longer having a migraine. That was just a side effect, a positive side effect. So I greatly appreciate that. Let's go back to Sherry, who has another question from the audience. Sherry, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thank you. Yes, we have another question. This is from JT. The question is, what to do for a 36-year-old female with a diagnosis of hypothyroidism and vitiligo, both autoimmune conditions. Her weight is 145 pounds.
Okay, so vitiligo, she's having color issues on her skin.
I guess so. It doesn't say.
Okay, and then thyroid is not a genetic thing. It's a simple nutritional deficiency, mineral deficiency. That was my first scientific paper. I had this farmer brought me 50 dead lambs. The day before, he had 500 normal lambs, 6 months old. They were getting this like 1963 in December. Everybody's out on the Christmas vacation. I'm there as a student. And I did the autopsies on these 50, on these dead lambs. Okay, 50. He brought me 50 dead lambs. Okay, did the autopsies on them. Got a nice scientific paper out of the deal, but found out that they all had goiter. And so it just attracted to these 500 lambs were getting their water for 6 months and getting ready to be sheared and then go to get slaughtered. And they were drinking water out of this pond for 6 months, and all the surrounding farms were using too much fertilizer and was getting into that pond. And the fertilizer caused them to have goiter. And the night they all died, the temperature in central Missouri during the wintertime, because of the Mississippi River coming up out of the Gulf, okay, or going down to the Gulf rather, okay, the heat comes up that river bed, okay, and so it runs 40, 50, 60 during the wintertime, okay, but the night they all died, the temperature dropped to 16, and they all died of hypothermia because their thyroids were all dead and they couldn't tolerate that drop in environmental temperature. That was my first scientific paper. And Marlon Perkins, from the old Mutual Omaha Kingdom show, who I gave a copy of while it was being sent to the printer, he took it and got a $21 million grant from NIH, National Institutes of Health, called me back from Africa. I was working on the White Rhino Project. And he said, look, you're going to be doing autopsies on animals from all over the world. The zoos are going to be embalming them, freezing them, and sending them to us, plus those that die here in America in the zoos. And we need to use them as a canary in the mine. If they're dying of pollution problems, we need to warn the human population who live around that zoo. Okay, so that's what the whole project was about. And the book, The Disease of Exotic Animals, covers 20,000 autopsies on 465 species of animals plus humans. Okay, and it's a treasure. It's listed as a national treasure in the Smithsonian Institute Library. Okay, it's listed as a national treasure because it found that there are no genetically transmitted diseases. I'll repeat that. There are no genetically, no matter how many times your doctor says, oh, that's genetic in your family. Well, just because you have 5 people in your family with the same disease doesn't mean it's genetic. It's a very simpleton observation, okay? And so, because if they're all eating the same thing, they're going to get the same nutritional deficiency. It has nothing to do with genetics, okay? And so that's what this is all about. And so this is one of those things where these problems are very easy to deal with. Wouldn't hurt for her to get a hair analysis, get a hold of that book. Rare Herbs and Cures, go to chapter 1011, page starts at page 272. And of course, based on body weight, she needs to get started. She go ahead and get started on the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. And I would also throw in Ocean's Gold, 3 of those twice a day, and Fucoid Z, 3 of those twice a day. They come from 2 different oceans. And so you'll be getting the minerals for the 2 different oceans that way. And so the goiter thing is very easy to get rid of. Okay. And so let's find out what's going on and the vitiligo. But when you take all 90 essential nutrients, you're giving the skin what it needs. It wouldn't hurt to throw in the hair, skin, and nails. Throw in hair, skin, and nails. Take 3 of those twice a day, and that will help with maintaining proper skin color.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Sherry. Question, Dr. Wallach. We were talking about demyelinization
Yes.
of the nerves, all the conditions that are associated with that kind of condition in its own. What can be done for demyelinization of the nerves?
Okay, well, it's actually quite easy. Number one, you got to get rid of all the bad stuff so you can absorb. Okay, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, no barley, rye, oats, no buckwheat, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. Even the diet ones got to go, and carbonated water need to go. And then 1 Healthy Brain and Heart Pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. The MSM, 3 of those twice a day per 100 pounds of body weight. They need the I-26 if they're going to take, the tablets or the chewables 2-3 times a day, okay, or 3 twice a day. I take 2-3 times a day, and I use the chewables primarily. In fact, right now they've got a big deal on chewables as far as a nice discount on the chewables, the banana coconut chewables.
Banana, yes.
Okay, and so you get a nice price break on them. And so at any rate, then also the synaptives, take 3 of those twice a day, be 2 bottles a month, so the brain cells can talk to each other. And we eat a lot of eggs. It's 2 to 3 eggs twice a day. Okay, breakfast and dinner, 90% of the time. There'll be a day where you might just have 3 eggs at one meal. Okay, but mostly 90% of the time we have 3 eggs twice a day. Okay, and this goes back again to the old days when people would eat eggs and they didn't have these problems because they were getting the raw materials necessary to maintain the myelin in the brain, spinal cord, and the nerves. They were told by their doctors to give up cholesterol because it causes blockages in your arteries, which is the French science of crampola. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Wallach. Let's fit in one more question. We have Ruth Ellen with her hand up with a question from the audience. Ruth Ellen, go ahead and unmute.
I have a quick question, and it's kind of a general question. Someone is asking why athletes die young and so suddenly, and how long has that been happening? It's been happening for a long time, right?
It's been happening for centuries. Okay, I was reading stuff going back to the days, of the Egyptians, 3, 4, 5,000 years ago. Okay. And it's one of those things where they were dying suddenly. Okay. Because it depends. Remember, nutritional minerals do not occur in a uniform blanket around the crust of the earth. They occur in veins like gold and silver. And if you live in a place you don't have those minerals, you're sweating. And you're sweating out all the minerals you might be getting from your food, and you're only getting 10% of what you need from your food, and you're sweating it all out, and you're not supplementing to make sure you're getting your optimal amounts, you're going to die from a sudden heart attack. I mean, all you have to do is look at Fox News every day. There's 2 or 3 young athletes or entertainers or people who sweat a lot on the stage. There's everything from kids. Babies used to die suddenly of a heart attacks. It was called sudden death syndrome. And doctors said mothers were laying on the babies, suffocating them. So once we got these nutrients into the baby formulas, I had to sue the FDA 8 times in federal court. My great attorney, Jonathan Emore, and I always sued the FDA 8 times in federal court to put these nutrients in the baby formulas. And suddenly sudden death syndrome disappeared. Mothers weren't laying on the babies anymore.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
And it's time for you to go to your next
Yep.
appointment.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Wallach. We will see you tomorrow. And everybody, thank you for joining us here on Daily with Doc. And if I could get my co-hosts up with me, I know there was one more question here that I see that has to do with osteoporosis of the skull and a small brain aneurysm. So what Dr. Wallach would recommend, Pam, is in addition to that brain and heart pack that you are on, you're on the right track. We need to add a couple more things to that. And based on his protocols and what he has shared with others with the same symptoms of osteoporosis and also small brain aneurysm, you want to double up on that ultimate selenium so that you're taking 2-3 times a day or 3 twice a day. You also want to make sure that you're getting the ultimate MSM Ultra. And based on up to, if you're, let's see, I don't see a weight here, but start with 3 twice a day. If you are 200 pounds or over, go 3 times a day on that MSM Ultra. Also add in the collagen peptides. You need 2 canisters so that you can have 1 scoop twice a day, and Synaptive. 1 bottle will give you 1 twice a day. So depending on your weight, if you're over 150, do 2 bottles for 2 twice a day. And then Dr. Wallach loves adding those extra nutrients and those extra things for bone building that's found in the Rebound. So Rebound FX, I love the canister. It has less sugar and it has more nutrients in it than it actually does in the cans. And then vitamin D3 helps with the absorption of those minerals that build the bones, making them stronger, building healthier bone marrow also. So vitamin D3 on that. So I hope that helps, folks. A lot of great questions today. And the one thing that I wanted to kind of go back on, because Raphael's question in regards to, I said obesity, he's saying that the article says overweight. There is a fine line between overweight and obesity. In fact, research that I've studied, 15 pounds overweight and you're considered obese. So I would like to see what their study shows and what it is saying is the difference between overweight and obese, because there is that fine line. And there's a lot of jokes going around, you know, a little extra here just means that you have some more fat in case you run out of food, or more things to help you live longer, whatever. The bottom line is, folks, you don't get the nutrients going in, the body's starving. Okay? It's not just fat that the body needs. The body needs 90 essential nutrients, 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 3 essential fatty acids to get yourself out of a starvation mode. When you get out of that starvation mode, the body feels safer. So it gets out of that fight or flight and says, okay, I can relax and I can release all this stuff that I've been holding on to that is not benefiting me. It's not serving me because it's no longer in that starvation mode. So be empowered, folks. There is so much that we can do as individuals to help ourselves. And as Dr. Wallach mentioned, the nutrients are not found in just eating good. And what I was told was eating good was actually killing me with all of the grains, whole grains being at the top of the pyramid. It was what was in those whole grains, that protein that we cannot digest in gluten, because gluten is a protein. The body cannot thoroughly digest it. It creates a glue, kind of like the name, that then coats the inside of the digestive system, compacts those villi within the intestines, suffocates them so that the nutrients aren't even touching them as it's going through the system. And then we wonder why we have so many different diseases that have to do with digestion. It's a clue. So I hope that you're able to see a little bit of light on that clue and look in more to solutions and what you can do on your own and how important you are. You're worth the investment. And having better health and not struggling through each day is worth making those little food choices that can lead to a much, much better health journey. So folks, get back with the person that shared this program with you. If there's nobody to thank, please go to our website, DailywithDoc.com. That is DailywithDoc, DOC.com. And there you will find a full store. You will find replays of our programs that you're more than welcome to use, listen, share. For the Daily with Doc show, we also have our Q&A with pharmacist Ben, that the replays are listed there. And our other programming that we have done over the last 3 years with Dr. Wallach and other special guests, all right there on DailywithDoc.com. Don't forget, follow us, subscribe to our channels, and share. That's how we together can build a healthier world. I want to do a shout out quickly for my co-hosts because I could not do this without them. We've got Ruth Ellen Sanchez, and she's helping with the whole production of this and helping manage and keep everybody on the same page and make sure that we're sharing the information that is right in line with Dr. Wallach's philosophy and teaching, because he's the one that done the research, people. He's the one that had the clinics where he implemented and created these formulas in the beginning so that he could help the people that are seeking help. Well, now we're in a hurting nation, and there's more and more people that are seeking alternatives, because going to a doctor and getting a drug, and then the next time going, having to get another drug to correct or offset what the one had done, is just not working for them. It didn't work for me. And I'm glad that I finally saw the light. I hope that you are seeing light as well. We have Sherry, who, like I mentioned before, we have some of our certified holistic health coaches that have gone through other coaching programs and didn't learn what they learned through the certified holistic health coach course at the Institute of Holistic Health, and how impactful it is to have solutions that actually work instead of fractionating nutrition. And we have a beautiful Marilyn Pizzera Spear, who dedicates her life to helping and caring for people. And she's coming from a lawyer's office, not saying that she was a lawyer, but her dictation skills are fantastic, and we greatly appreciate them. So thank you, Marilyn. We have Albert, coming from a completely different industry in a country so far away, who realizes that, hey, we've got some health issues here, and ran across Dr. Wallach and said, okay, I'm already in the distribution of other things that are not even close to food. And he's wanted to add this to his program too, so much that he also went through the Certified Holistic Health Coach course through the Institute of Holistic Health. And then we have Mr. AJ Sportis out there in YouTube, who is really getting us out on all of these platforms and teaching us and he's kind of like the push. He's like that needle, that sticks you in the butt and gets you going. No more excuses. We got it done because of AJ here and Ruth Ellen in getting all of those accounts established and getting programming loaded onto those channels so that we can reach more people where they are at. And that's it, folks. Dr. Wallach's programs are amazing, but we understand that not everybody can afford that ultimate protocol. You can still get great benefits taking baby steps. So take those baby steps today, even if it's just a bottle of minerals. Get back with the program, the person that invites you to this program, or go to our website, or we do have a call team standing by if you would rather speak with somebody. 855-949-3377. That is for the people who have never tried the longevity products. They have never spoken to anybody about longevity. That call number, 855-949-3377, has coaches standing by. If you don't happen to get one of our coaches, because the lines do get full and you do get the voicemail, please leave a message. We do return those calls. So until next time, I think I said it all. Again, this program is not meant to take the place of your primary care physician. It is for educational purposes only. And folks, education is empowerment. You can get good education. You can get bad education. You can get that censored stuff. Well, we're not into the censored stuff, but we do have to keep the FDA happy by saying that the FDA requires us to say that our products are not meant to treat, prevent, diagnose, or cure any diseases. But something I forgot to mention in the beginning of the show, Dr. Wallach has sued that organization and won 8 times so that we can say the importance of supplementation and get those nutrients into specific foods, especially early in life with baby formulas. So until next time, thank you so much for joining us.
And
Go ahead and don't forget, what am I forgetting?
We will not be here this Thursday or Friday.
That's right. No Thursday, Friday this week. So that's July 27th, 28th of 2023, if you are watching us in the future. But for the most part, we are here Monday through Friday from 12 to 12:50 p.m. Pacific time. And we're so happy to have you here with us today. Bye for now.